Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Why is my stream not working? There we go. Hello? 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 Um, I have time for one session here because I have to go to work. So I'll just do 25 minutes. Alright. Last time we were on starting the third lesson. I also finally got Node working. This took fucking forever, dude. I have such bad luck with downloading package managers or using package managers with WSL. And, just anyway. Developer tools. From the Chrome menu, more menu developer tools. Right click anywhere and click inspect or F12. So these are the developer tools. Google has updated some of its required sections in the below tutorial. Some of them have changed or not exist, but you can still follow using the same functionality and tools that they cover. For example, you may be asked to inspect a button that is no longer on the page. You can still follow along and inspect elements without issue. 1 second, make sure just checking if I got paid today. I was supposed to. I worship like a dog in her night. Fuck yeah, baby. I got paid. Head to the Chrome dev documentation. The following subsections cover for 90% of the time. Feel free to skip the elements you're already familiar and only read these. Chrome dev tools. View and change CSS. Text below and select inspect. The elements panel of the dev tool opens. Observe the inspect me elements highlighted in the DOM. What is DOM? Document object model. Cross-platform and language-independent interface that treats an HTML or XML document as a tree structure. And the element styles page. Aloha class rule. Enter the value of padding 1 EM. Class Aloha. background, color, red. What? Type honeydew. Oh, they want me to do it in here. Class. There we go. Add a class to me. Holy shit. Click .cls. So styles. Add a new class. Add a pseudostate to a class. Use the styles pane to apply a CSS pseudostate to an element. Div tools. I don't know what a pseudostate is. Change the dimensions. Use the box model interactive diagram in the styles pane to change the width height. Change by margin.
What is the DOM? And how does it relate to HTML? In this episode, we will explore two of the most common and confusing web development terms. Let's begin! When you use a browser to request a web page, the server returns HTML like this. The HTML is a document with instructions on how the page should roughly look like. The browser needs to process and parse the HTML to create a tree of objects like this. Each object of the tree is a node. This entire tree representing the page's content is the DOM, or we call it the document object model. Right now, the DOM looks the same as the HTML, but suppose that the script reference at the bottom runs this code. It removes the heading nodes and adds another paragraph node to the DOM. The complete DOM now looks like this. The page's HTML is now different from its DOM. In other words, HTML represents initial page content and the DOM represents current page content. When JavaScript adds, removes, or edits nodes, the DOM becomes different from the HTML. In fact, when building a page with a JavaScript framework, you can use a very short HTML document and add all the nodes from JavaScript. That works. The browser will parse it the same way to form the DOM. With that, let's inspect the page with DevTools. There are more than 5 ways to open DevTools. You can watch my previous video to learn more. Right-click on the page and select Inspect. This is the Elements panel. On the left is the DOM tree. This is where you can inspect, edit, and do all DOM-related activities. When you are interested in a particular DOM node, Inspect is a fast way to investigate that node. With that, the node is highlighted in the DOM tree. Furthermore, as you navigate the nodes, DevTools highlights the node in your page too. There are 3 more handy commands to help you locate your node quicker. You can use Ctrl or Command F to search through the DOM. If you find the DOM node is not currently in the viewport, instead of scrolling all the way to the bottom, you can click on the 3 dot and select Scroll into View. In addition, do you see the $hint in the DOM tree? You can press Escape to bring up the console and type $0 to view the current node. You can also modify the text content on the fly using this command. To view the node in object format, you can use the dir command. If you want to view your previous node in the navigation history, type $1 will get you that. Similarly, you can right-click and scroll to view from here. This $command is part of the Console Utilities API. Go to this video to learn more useful commands like this. Since we touched on editing the DOM, there are multiple easier ways to edit it as well. This allows you to quickly experiment changes in the UI. To edit the text content of a node, double-click on the text and start editing. Press Enter to apply the changes. Similarly, if you want to change the type of this node, Hello there. I was testing how my website looks on a mobile device. It is quite troublesome to keep testing on different devices, such as mobile and tablet during development, isn't it? Don't you find it time-consuming? Tell us in the comments below. You can save time by using DevTools device mode to simulate how your page looks and how it performs on a mobile device. First, click Toggle Device toolbar to open the UI to start simulating a mobile viewport. Alternatively, you can use the Ctrl-Shift-M on Windows or Command-Shift-M on macOS to toggle it. By default, the device toolbar opens in viewport with dimensions set to responsive. You can drag the handles to resize the viewport or enter specific width and height to whatever dimensions you need. Even better, there are 4 ways to help you switch between viewport sizes even quicker. First one, can you see the bar on the top with some preset sizes? Hover over them to view the values or click on them to update the viewport size instantly. On top of that, you can rotate the viewport to landscape orientation to find out how your page looks. One thing to note though, in case your screen size is too narrow, the rotate button will disappear. Second, if you have defined CSS breakpoints in your web page, you can show them on the top bar as well. For example, there are 2 media queries breakpoints on this page. You can identify them by clicking on the 3-dot menu, select Show Media Queries to see them. Similarly, you can click a breakpoint to change the viewport's width. Apart from that, DevTools provides a list of predefined common devices to help you emulate your page's layout. On the dimension dropdown, you can see these devices such as iPhone, Pixel, or Nest Hub. Let's select Nest Hub for this demo. Time for a bonus tip. Some devices have device frame. You can enable it via the 3-dot menu and take a screenshot. Look at that, isn't that nice? Besides that, you can customize the device list or add a custom device. Select Edit from the drop-down menu. You can add or remove any device from the list. You can also create a new customized device. The dimension
If you're still using console.log to find and fix JavaScript issues, you might be spending more time debugging than you need to. This tutorial shows you how to make the most of Chrome DevTools so that you can debug your JavaScript as quickly as possible. I'm going to use this buggy demo here to demonstrate all the debugging tools in DevTools. I recommend that you open up this demo yourself and follow along with each step. The link is in the description. Whatever issue you're debugging, you always want to start by reproducing the issue. You want to find a series of actions that consistently reproduces the bug. In this demo, when I add 5 and 1, the result down here at the bottom is 51. Obviously, that should be 6. This is the bug that I need to track down. At this point, you might be tempted to use console.log to infer where the code is going wrong. Sure, it may get the job done, but it's rather inefficient. First, you have to find the relevant code, which could take a while in the big code base. Then you have to sprinkle console.log statements throughout the code. Then you got to reload the page and look at the logs. But maybe the logs didn't give you all the information you need, so you got to go back and add more logs, and so on. With DevTools, you can pause the code in the middle of its execution, inspect the variables that are in scope at that moment in time, and walk through your code one line at a time. Open DevTools by pressing Command-Option-J on Mac or Control-Shift-J on Windows and Linux. Then click the Sources tab. The Sources panel is where you debug JavaScript. It has 3 main parts. At the top left here is the File Navigator pane, where you can inspect the files that the page uses. After clicking on a file, you can see the contents of it here in the Code Editor pane. And down here is the JavaScript debugging pane, which you'll learn more about shortly. Note that when your DevTools window is wide, the JavaScript debugging pane moves to the right. If you take a step back and think about how the app works, it's probably safe to guess that the incorrect sum gets computed in the click event listener that's associated to the button. Therefore, you want to pause the code right when the event listener executes. Event listener breakpoints let you do exactly that. Expand the event listener breakpoint section, then expand the mouse category, and then check the click checkbox. DevTools now pauses on the first line of any click event listener that executes. Back in the demo, click the button again, and DevTools pauses on the first line of this onClick function. The blue highlight indicates what line of code you're currently paused on. If you're paused on a different line of code, press Resume Script Execution until you're paused on the correct line. You paused on the wrong line because you have a Chrome extension which registers click event listeners on every page that you visit. If you try the workflow I'm describing in an incognito window, you can see that you always pause on the correct line of code. Event listener breakpoints are just one type of breakpoint. DevTools offers many other types. For example, you can set a breakpoint on a specific line of code, or when a DOM node changes, or when an exception gets thrown, and so on. After this tutorial, I recommend checking out our breakpoints guide, which teaches you when and how to use each type. The link to that guide is in the description too. I'm paused in the click listener, and now I want to execute the code one line at a time. The code stepping controls right here let you do that. Click the Step into Next function call button to investigate a function further. For example, when I step into the inputs are empty function, it jumps me to the first line of that function. When I'm confident that a function is working as expected, I can click the Step over Next function call button. The function executes, but I don't walk through it line by line. For example, if I click Step into Next function call, this line here would be highlighted blue, meaning this is where I'm currently paused. But when I click Step over Next function call, the function executes to completion, and I pause on the next line of the function that I'm currently stepping through. Last, suppose I'm stepping through a function and I realize it's not relevant to my bug. In that case, I can press Step out of current function, and DevTools executes the rest of the function. If this doesn't make complete sense right now, I recommend creating a snippet, which is a little block of JavaScript code that you can execute at any time. Set a breakpoint in your snippet and play around with the code stepping controls yourself in order to understand how they all work. Back in the script, I can tell that the bug is probably somewhere in the update label function.
Jesus fuck. I gotta cut it there. I gotta go to work. See ya.